Hello everyone, welcome to today's practice, starting in the seated pose, closing down the eyes, hands resting gently on our knees and bringing our hands to prayer position at our heart as we set our intention for the day or for our practice. Breathing in through the nose, out through the nose. Big deep breath in as we take our hands above our head. And then right hand to the mat, left arm stretching up and over, getting a beautiful side bend. And then left hand to the earth, taking right hand, right arm above our head. And putting a bend in the elbow that's on the ground so we get a deeper stretch in our obliques. You can close the eyes down here or keep them open. Keeping the legs crossed. Coming back to center. Rolling the shoulders forward and the back backwards. And then leaning the chest towards the sky, coming in the opposite direction. Collapsing our body, our head down over our body. And then taking our chest and head back and opening up towards the sky. Just flowing through this, getting some fluidity and some warmth and energy going through that lower back. And then coming back to seated pose. Take an inhale and then exhale, forward folding over our crossed legs. Maybe coming down onto the forearms, resting the forehead on the ground. Whatever feels good for you. And just pulling the body forward, getting a deeper stretch as we round over our legs and then slowly coming back up. Changing the legs over, taking a big deep breath in, and then on the exhale, melting over our crossed legs again. Coming down onto the forearms and pulling the upper body towards the hands as we sit heavy in our hip bones, keeping them on the mat as best you can. And then slowly coming back up. Taking one leg long, so right leg long, left leg crosses over, pulling the left knee into the chest as we take our left arm behind us, taking our gaze back over our left shoulder, breathing deeply in this twisted pose. And then unraveling the leg, taking the right leg over the left leg, pulling the right knee in towards the chest, taking our gaze over our right shoulder. Continuing to breathe in and exhaling as we unravel the legs, taking them wide now. We're going to do the same thing but a wide-legged flow this time. So folding our head and shoulders over the body as we curve our back towards the back, and then opening up the chest as we place both hands on the mat behind us, and then curving through, getting a stretch from the head through the neck, through the back of the spine, and then taking the chest and opening up the heart towards the sky. Bringing the soles of the feet together now in butterfly pose. grasping the feet in the hands, pulling the shoulders away from the ears, pushing the knees towards the mat, getting this elongation through the spinal cord, the vertebra, creating space between the discs and the spine. Just coming up onto one knee now, taking the left leg long, left arm long, right hand is planted under our right shoulder. Then changing over to the other side, kneeling on our left knee, right leg goes long, opening our heart up towards the sky. Right arm is long. And then just hugging the knees in towards the chest. Maybe dropping our head to our knees. Maybe lifting the feet off the mat and balancing. Just finding some stillness here. And then coming onto all fours. Just going to come into tabletop position as we run through some cat and cow poses. Inhaling as we push our belly and our chest towards the mat. Exhaling as we take our gaze between our legs, curving our back in the opposite direction. Inhaling to cow position, taking our gaze high. Exhaling into cat. Going back to neutral spine, tucking the toes and coming into downward facing dog. Maybe pedaling out the legs. Taking the hips high. Maybe you want to bring your chest towards your knees. It's coming into a raised tabletop, so our knees are not touching the ground or the mat. There's a little bit of a gap. This is going to work the core as well as the arms and the legs. And then dropping down to our knees, taking them to the sides of the mat. Arms are long as we come into our first child pose for the practice. Gently dropping the forehead to the mat. Our bottom is sitting on our heels. If you can't quite reach your heels, just pop a cushion underneath the bottom. Or if you have any knee problems, maybe just go back through some cat-cow poses if this is too painful. Or you could try a narrow-legged child's pose. So again, you need to be the master of your body. Listen to it when it's little twinges. You need to pay attention. Tucking the toes, coming back into downward facing dog. Taking the left foot between the hands. Come up into warrior one, maybe putting a little bit of a back bend in it. Do cactus arms if that feels good, to open up the chest and get the scapulars to rotate inwards towards each other. And then right elbow goes on the left knee as we take our left arm up towards the sky. Our gaze is going past our fingertips as we're in this high lunge position. Maybe taking that left arm and putting it in the crease behind our back, and then twisting a little bit more in the chest. A big exhale in, and then coming into our airplane pose, getting the chest parallel with the ground. The right leg should be parallel. Just holding for a moment as we continue to breathe. And then raising that knee, we're going to go straight into tree pose. Bringing our hands to heart. I'm just going to turn to face you guys, but you can stay at the top of your mat. So bringing the foot on the inside of the thigh. And we're going to put our hands at our heart center. Once you get your balance, of course. And if you want to challenge yourself a little bit more, you can close your eyes down and really test your balance. Otherwise, we're looking for grounding through our left foot here. Taking our drishni, our gaze, maybe to a point in front of us that's not moving. Just coming back into a raised tabletop pose again. Knees are off the ground, toes are tucked, wrists are under our shoulders, we've got a neutral spine. And then dropping our knees to the outside of our mat, we're going to take the arms through and under the body this time for our child's pose. Maybe placing the right cheek on the mat. And taking a couple of deep rounds of breath here. Maybe changing the head over to the other side, resting the left cheek on the mat. Just connecting with all the points of the body that are touching the mat right now. Feeling the connection with energy. Slowly coming out of that pose. Just going to tuck the toes and sit back on our heels. Maintaining good posture alignment. Hands are resting gently on our lap, and we're giving our toes and our feet a really good stretch in this position. And you might find that one foot is tighter than the other, and that's okay. Just breathing. Slowly untucking the toes. We're just going to give them a little bit of a tap just to help them come out of that pose. And then taking the left leg in between the hands, come down into this low lunge. The foot of the right leg is untucked. You can come up onto your hands if you like, on top of the left knee, really sinking a little bit deeper into this stretch. And then walking the left foot out to the side of the mat, and with the left arm pushing that knee away from the body, and using your right arm for balance as we open up the hips, and then walking the foot back in so that the sole of the foot is on the floor, and then coming down onto our forearms. And just breathing into this pose. Should be getting a really deep stretch. Maybe coming back up onto your hands if that feels more comfortable. And then tucking the toes of the back foot. I'm going to come and sit our bottom onto that back heel as we give the left leg a stretch down the back, pulling the toes towards the head, and then coming back into the low lunge. Taking a round of breath here, and then on the exhale, coming back, sitting down that back heel, stretching the hamstring behind the knee. Going through once more. And then taking the left leg back to meet the right in downward facing dog. Coming into raised tabletop again, hovering the knees just above the mat. Maybe shifting the weight forward a little bit to give the wrists a bit of a stretch. And then dropping the knees We're going for a narrow-legged child's pose this time, so the arms go down by our sides, resting the hands on our feet. Forehead is gently resting on the mat. Continuing your deep breathing here. Really filling up the lungs and feeling the rib cage expand with each inhalation. And then slowly coming out of child's pose. And bring the right foot between the hands, dropping the left leg back, coming into this low lunge. You can keep the hands on the ground or bring them up to your knee. The foot of the left leg is flat against the mat, and then we're walking the right foot out, pushing the right knee away from the body, pressing down through our left arm that's grounded. Then placing both hands on the mat, maybe coming down to our forearms, which are on the inside of our right leg. Just breathing. Coming back up onto your hands. And then we're going to tuck the toes of the left leg and bring our bottom down onto the left foot as we stretch the right leg long, pulling the toes back towards the head, and then coming forward again, sinking deep into this beautiful pelvic stretch. Coming back to sit on the back heel, pulling the toes back, breathing. And the exhale coming forward, placing our hands on our right knee. And one more time, lowering back down. Stretch the nerves and the hamstrings and the calf muscles. Should be feeling nice and loose now in our legs and our hips and our glutes. Coming into downward facing dog. Dropping to our knees and then coming onto our right side. Right elbow goes under right shoulder. Knees are bent. Feet are going out 90 degrees behind our knees. And then left arm is going straight up in the air, or you can bring it up and over the head, really squeezing the glutes in this exercise, taking the hips as high as you can. And then we're just going to take the left leg long, and then you can bring it off the floor. Getting this beautiful line from our left hand right through to our left toes, or you can take the left hand and grab the foot of the left leg and have a beautiful stretch through the quadricep muscles here. And then we're just going to change over to the other side. So coming onto our left side now. Left elbow grounding down under the left shoulder. Knees are bent, raising our hips towards the sky. Right arm is going long now, or it can go up overhead. And then when you're ready, you can take the right leg long and connect it with the ground. So you get this beautiful long line from fingertips to foot. You can raise the leg up. And again, if you want to, you can grab that foot behind and give the thigh a stretch. We'll slowly come out of this pose into a seated position. We're going to slowly lower down onto our back. Taking your time. And we're just going to go for a back bend. So our hands go on the mat next to our ears as we push up through our arms and through the soles of our feet, taking our gaze as far under the body as we can, pushing our pelvis, our hips, our abs towards the ceiling, and then slowly rolling out. Maybe bringing the knees towards the chest. You can rock side to side if you like, or do some circles, or even just take the knees wide. Just taking a moment to let the back relax. Bringing the knees back to center, taking the feet to the mat. Pulling the shoulders away from the ears. Taking the legs long and letting the feet drop heavy out to the side. Just take any final movements that you need to before we finish with Shavasana. Taking 5 minutes for ourselves just to find some peace and serenity on this beautiful day. As you go deeper into relaxation, see if you can have the body feel lighter and lighter as you let go and surrender. And release any tension, any stress, any worries. Just let it all go. It's not serving you right now. Continue to breathe normally. Remember to push on any thoughts that are going through your mind right now. Just acknowledging them and then moving them to the side. Don't need to be thinking about anything right now. As you lay there, deep in relaxation, you think of a beautiful white light coming from above the crown, working its way over your body, starting with the forehead, the face, the jaw, the neck, the shoulders, the arms, chest. The white light keeps flooding over our body, over your hips, your thighs, your knees. And feel the warmth of this light as it starts to cover your entire body, your shins, your ankles, your toes. Feel the relaxation, serenity of the light. Then when you're ready, bring your awareness back to your body, moving it in a way that feels good, and then coming onto one side, resting a moment before coming back up into seated position. Just going to stretch the neck a little bit, so dropping the right ear to the right shoulder, coming back to center, left ear to left shoulder. We'll do that one more time. Right ear to right shoulder, back to center, over to the left, back to center. And then just taking your nose towards the left armpit, maybe using your left arm to pull the head gently towards the armpit. And then over on the right side, same thing, nose towards the armpit. Maybe using the hand for a deeper stretch. And then raising our shoulders up towards our ears and dropping them away. Inhaling, raising them up, and then exhaling, dropping them away. Just one more time. And then just relaxing. Taking a big deep breath in, arms above our head. Hands are coming to our third eye in prayer position. As you repeat after me, may I have kind and loving thoughts today. As you move your hands to your mouth, may you speak kind and loving words today. As you bring your hands to your heart center, may I have kind and loving intentions today. What a beautiful day to shine and to be the lighthouse for yourself and for others. Namaste.